It is that time. You guys know what to do. Please welcome the Sons of Anarchy panel. Give it up. Let them know you're here.
You guys are awesome.
Charlie's taking a piss.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for keeping you waiting. I'm going to get a t-shirt for Comic-Cons that says, sorry for keeping you waiting. I've said that about 1,000 times today, but I am sorry for keeping you waiting.
Hi. So this is for the event and for Charlie as well. I remember in the last con in Toronto, I think, you mentioned about Chill. I'd like to hear more stories. Do we have any good stories about him to share?
Did you get that question?
Yeah, that was a heavy question. Yeah,
What was the question?
She's asking about Chill Will.
Chill Will.
Oh.
And just if there was any stories we'd like to share. I mean, listen.
Well, I'm gonna ramble because we had a lot of questions. Like I could just go on for the whole 45 minutes. The coolest person I ever met in my lifetime. This is a real gangster. He put his piece in his belt before his shoes on his feet. I'll give you a real quick story. I took him to Miami, and I had we went to Vegas everywhere. He would go everywhere with me, and I went to Miami, and I said to my friends, "Yo, bro, can my friends stay here?" And I'm not gonna go away for 3 days and run over my mom and my brother and come back. And I come back, and all my friends are like, "Your friend is the coolest person we've ever met." I said, "Yeah, I think so too."
And this young gentleman.
I met Chill Will right before. I mean, I've talked about it a lot that he was the single inspiration for Jack Steller. And when I went up to Oakland and I stayed with DL, you remember that when I first came up?
Oh yeah. Instant, like real, recognized real, bonded for life. And him and Will are sitting there, and Will's like, I know you. And he's like, I know you from the football movie.
Yeah, there were... No. You're forgetting everything that happened before that. So we were all sitting around in DL's tattoo shop in Oakland. And Will came in. He was a guy, pulled some burnouts in the street, came in. Remember, he took his jacket, he took his cut off, he took his jacket off, something hanging there. I was like, whoa. Put his jacket back on, and then, pulled out a smokable, let's say. Didn't say anything. Lit, said smokable, still didn't say anything. Looking at me, and then if there's kids in the room, cover your ears right now. And he looked at me, and then he said, all right, I give up. Who the fuck is this motherfucker? And I went...
That's right.
This isn't gonna go very well. And then for some reason, everyone left. It was there. I went over to the clubhouse, and then it was just me and Will. And he started talking to me, and he realized that I was the dude he had seen in Green Street Hooligans. And then all of a sudden, I was cool, And I just loved him. Like DL said, the coolest dude I ever met.
And we have a question from this young gentleman on this side of the room.
This is for Charlie. What was the experience on working on Pacific Rim?
Oh, good question. What's your name?
Bryce.
Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce. We go way back. I met you earlier, Bryce. It was fantastic, Bryce. It was the one thing, that machine when I'm in the helmet of it, that thing was like being on elliptical in the gym, wearing armor that weighed about 50 pounds for 16 hours a day, and I did that for 5 weeks straight. So that sucked, but the rest of it was fantastic. Guillermo, the director of that film, is just a lovely human being, so we had a good time together.
Good question, Bryce. Thank you. We're going to do a string of questions down the wall right over here.
Whoa, rapid fire.
All right, this is specifically for Charlie. I just want to say, you look exactly like Edward Kenway from Black Flag, so I was wondering, have you ever, if you ever got, like, a chance to play in a pirate movie, would you?
I feel like Sons of Anarchy was kind of like a pirate movie. But yes, You know, I can't tell that story. But there is something that I just did that hasn't come out yet that I would like to... I tried to weasel my way into the potential of there being a sequel. And if I... This is so obscure, it makes no sense. But if I did come back, although I didn't play a pirate in the first one, I would play a pirate in the second one. So try to make some sense out of that answer.
And a question right back here. We're just going to keep these rapid fire for you guys.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone else, but this one is for Charlie too. So I recently saw that from working on Sons, you had to like hire a dialect coach to relearn English, British from going from the American. So how did that go?
I actually did 2 films back to back playing Englishmen. One was King Arthur, and then the other was called The Lost City of Zed. I don't know. I don't know. I think it went okay. I guess I'll let you be the judge of that.
Okay. Next question.
Hi guys, this was actually for Ryan. How was it to work on God of War Ragnarok? Because you were amazing. Amazing.
Nice. Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. You know, it was the first video game that I got to do, so it was really, you know, the learning curve was super steep. You know, when they dress you all in spandex and paint you with dots everywhere, and yeah, no, you know, when they shoot it, you know, because you have a camera that's hooked to your face, and you know, and also that they have all of these live television mounts in the actual studio while you're filming, because my character was supposed to be, you know, 7 foot tall, you know, or more, and so
2 inches shorter than you?
Correct. So it's a big acting jump. But it's like, you know, so I'd be having to act opposite another character who was not necessarily that much shorter than me, but my character on the screen was much taller than their character, so you had to sort of coordinate, you know, the geography of the scene. It was a lot more like playing with a marionette than it was acting. It was like kind of like doing voice acting and doing a marionette at the same time. So that part was a lot of fun. It was also a lot of fun just to see, you know, the technology behind these video games are just absolutely mind-blowing. And to, you know, I mean, I've been in this business for 30 years now, so it's like to go into a totally new realm where, you know, there are specific jobs that you didn't even know existed was a lot of fun for me.
Thank you. Okay, let's keep it going.
Hi. Well, this is a question for everyone. What was the hardest part about saying goodbye to your characters on The Sons?
I'm not over it. Oh. got a bunch of Sons of Anarchy fans going, oh.
I don't know. Honestly, saying goodbye was the hardest part of saying goodbye. I mean, for me, when I finished, it was clear that it was done. Kurt never told me how it was going to end. He didn't want to bias any of the decisions I was going to make, or, you know. And honestly, I don't think that he was ready to commit until he wrote that last episode. But I think for him and for me, it felt like that needed to end when it did. But it was tough. It felt, you know, I've suffered loss in my life, and not to get like overly dramatic, but it actually felt like grief, like actually losing someone, you know.
I'm gonna answer your question. So we would get we get the scripts right before, and we got the last script the night before the table read. So at like, I think I started reading the script at around 11 at night. By the bottom of page 1, I was crying. It's Jax woke up. He put on his rings. He put on his shoes. It's like, this guy's waking up to clear all contracts. It's the end of his trip right now. And I called this guy at 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, dude, I've been crying for 2 hours too, bro. Because it's like your best friends that I made in my life. And after a 7-year journey, we were all going to part now. And it was, when this guy left, that's like crying for days. You know, that's what it's like. It's like leaving your buddies that you did this incredible journey, happiest time of my life.
Yeah, no, it is. I can't say anything more along those lines. Is, you know, you create something, and it's like when you create a show and it resonates with people, it resonates for a reason. It's because it's a living thing that you have created. You know what I mean? And the beautiful part about it is that, and it doesn't happen every time, but is when you create this living organism that sort of resonates with other people, that gave birth to a brotherhood and a real human connection experience between the people who made it. When that thing comes to an end, it is grief. It is legitimate grief. It's like losing a loved one. So it was severe. Oh.
Okay, next. Thank you. Next question.
Hi, my question is for Charlie. When you're reading a script to choose a role, what do you look for in a script specifically to agree to take that role?
That's a great question. You know, again, I am always, reluctant to be too earnest in these things. But, you know, if you consider yourself an artist, I think one of the things about art is that you have to follow the impulses that compel you, or the things that you want to explore. But acting is an interpretive art. It's not a primary art. So what you have to look for at what I feel, that if you're fortunate enough to find roles that at that moment in your life give you a vehicle to explore the things in your mind or in your heart, or that are troubling you or compelling you, you know. I had, like, my father was like a towering, colossus in my life. He was my hero and my biggest, the person who I admired the most in life. Actually a second to my mom. And I had like a big distance to travel from who I perceived him to be and, the 1,000 miles in his shadow that I perceived myself to be. So that was like something that I needed to work through in my life, and Sons of Anarchy was like a nice way for me to be able to do that. But, I think that is really the thing. If you're fortunate as an actor, you can find roles that, give you that opportunity to work out the problems of your life.
Yeah.
And another one right here. We're going to do two more, then we're going to go to the middle of the room.
Oh my gosh. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I guess kind of a similar question to the hardest part of saying goodbyes, but with the table read and having the script there, of all of the deaths that happened in Sons of Anarchy, what was the one that was just reading it for the first time where you were like, holy shit. Like, this just happened, like, this is going to happen, I'm reading this, holy fuck. Like, what was the...
You get the point. We're running out of expletives.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, Opie by a royal mile. It was the first one where we went, at some point this is going to end. And like, how can we continue making the show without Opie and without Ryan? And without Opie and without Ryan? It just like it seemed ridiculous and impossible. And the show was never the same. Like, to me, there were two halves of that experience, with Opie and then without Opie.
Okay, let's get one more question on this side of the room, or go to the middle.
I'm totally fangirling right now. Okay, gotta calm myself. But my question's for all three. I just want to know who knew how to ride motorcycles before Sons, and who didn't, and how hard was that, to learn?
I had ridden once or twice before the show.
I had, ridden like quads. I had never ridden on two wheels, so that didn't really transfer very well.
And these guys became great riders, because I really did ride a few times. And we'd ride it. We'd be going to his house. And this guy's on the sidewalk, on the street. Wah! And we pulled up to his house, and I go, homeboy, I know guys in the thing don't ride like you. That's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
a sudden stop. You need to calm down.
Yeah.
That's going to be a sudden stop. You need to slow down.
We good? Okay, let's head down to the middle. I'm going to go to this far wall. Anybody have a question over here? Let's line up right here, and we'll get your questions once we're done in the middle.
Hi, guys. So my question is for actually Ryan and Charlie. It was a while since Opie had died on Sons of Anarchy, and both of you ended up playing in a million pieces. What was it like for both you to actually be able to play on set, be on set with each other again after all that time?
We weren't really on set. I mean, did we? I think
we were on set together, but I don't think we ever worked together.
No, I didn't.
I remember we had
we were
an
talking.
awesome afternoon, just like chatting.
Yeah, but we didn't work together.
No, but I mean, there was no break. We were like brothers. So like Opie was gone, but Ryan was still very, very much in my life, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yo, I want to just go back for 1 second. Like, it's the truth. We all became friends, so when a guy dies, we sort of know it. So I didn't work that day, and Boone didn't work that day, and we're like, yo, Ryan's going to die, let's all go down to the set. We went down to the set that day. Yeah. You remember the scene. The camera's facing this way, and then the camera's facing the other way. And he's like, I want everybody to come in. Everybody came in. The people cooking the food came in. He is loved. The people cleaning the thing came in. Everybody came in. And you hear that? That went on for 20 minutes. The walls were shaking. Loved. Admired.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but it's my favorite thing to talk about is the consequence for Ryan. I won't speak for you, but should I speak for you?
Go for it.
Well, it was hard for him because the trip stopped for him abruptly, and we kept going, you know. And Ryan wrote this beautiful essay called The Last Rites of Opie Winston, where he talked about the difficulty of bringing together this like collection of people that you love and cultivate and look after as through your career. And you have to, at some point, let them go and carry around that graveyard of characters. But for whatever reason, well, I think because we were still going, that Opie didn't want to die. And I remember reading it, just like I remember word for word that essay. It was like an amazing piece of just the expression of what it is to be an artist and some of the difficulties that are never really articulated of, you know, just doing what we do. And he said he was in a bookshop looking sort of out of desperation through books on character development. And of the 100 books on character development, there's not a single chapter in any of them of how to kill the son of a bitch when you're finished, if they don't want to go. And so we were aware of this and realized like he was in pain. And so when we finished, when Ryan was finishing the show, we knew that he was very interested in Japanese culture, and there was the best sword maker, modern sword maker in the world, and he'd made an extra large sword, not for Ryan, but obviously for Ryan. And so we said we got to buy him that. So we all chipped in some money and bought him it. So one day we said we got to take matters into our own hands, and we invited Ryan to come to my house and said, "Bring the sword." And we cut his beard off with the samurai sword.
Yep.
And that sort of was that. That was the death of Opie, right?
Absolutely. It put an end to him. It was the ritual that I'd been searching for, you know. And I remember leaving there going, and I remember just looking in the mirror and just feeling like a baby, in a good way. And it's part of the Bushido code, which is like they still do it with samurais. You know, it's as a part of the samurai code, but is for sumo wrestlers too. Is that when they retire, when a sumo wrestler retires, is everybody who has supported their career comes up and cuts off a small piece of their top knot and takes it. and so they all took a piece of my beard, and it felt nicely disseminated out into the world, and I could kind of continue on. Good.
Okay, here's another one from...
I gotta say, I just realized Chuck Zito is in the house from the Sons
Hey,
of Anarchy.
Frankie Diamond!
Come on, Frankie. A round of applause to Frankie Diamond.
Okay, here's another one from right down the middle.
How you doing, Charlie? 2 questions for you. First one, how was it working on King Arthur with another handsome British celebrity, David Beckham? And my second question, going to put you on the hot seat. If Jax could go back in time and say either Opie or Tara, which one would you choose?
Wow. You're a psychopath.
Well, hold on. If you save me, then I can save her, right?
Right?
Yo, motherfucker.
Yo, there you go. Yeah, you thought you'd stumped us. What I can tell you about David Beckham is, A, he was just awesome, but it was really funny because we were at the premiere of King Arthur in London, and we all ended up, like the actors and the director and everything, they all tried to get different configurations of people together to take photos. And they brought Guy Ritchie in, and they put me on one side and David Beckham on the other. And all these, all the flashbulbs going off, all these pictures, and I just leaned into Guy Ritchie. I was like, I don't fancy your chances in this picture, mate.
Okay, we'll keep it rolling here.
Yeah, we should.
First off, I want to
Sorry
say
about
my mom is very jealous I actually get to see you in person, Charlie, and her boyfriend is equally upset that I get to see Ryan. But my question is...
That's complex.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
My question is outside of Opie's unfortunate departure, what was probably the next hardest scene that y'all had to do, whether it be emotional, physical, or mental?
What about you?
I think the hardest thing they had to do was deal with me day after day after day, bro.
I remember one of the hardest scenes there was some scene. It was near the second. It was like we were going to the second meal. We'd been there 16 hours, and it was a scene between you and I. And I remember it was in the hallway that was right off of the main, the main part of the clubhouse, the skinny hallway. And so everybody's dead tired. We all want to fucking go home, right? Sorry, Bryce. And and we're sitting there, and it's the first and only time that it had ever happened to me in my career. But it's me and Charlie, and we're supposed to have this little powwow about something that's going on. I don't even remember what episode it was, but I remember I got the hiccups, and you were just like, fucking come on, dude. And I was just like, let's just say the lines faster, maybe I'll get through them. Oh my God, it was the worst. It was, and you see the camera operator just going Jesus, this fucking guy.
For me, it was the scene where Juice tells me that, spoilers, that my mom killed my wife. It's kind of a hard scenario to act. I've told the story before, I'll keep it brief. I was just terrified. I mean, there's certain things that you have experienced in your life and you go, okay, I know what this scene should feel like because this happened to me, or, but, I didn't have any, thankfully, reference point for that. So I just wanted to just do it. I worked a lot and I just wanted to show up and do it. I said, I'm not rehearsing. I'm not, this is where I'm sitting. You guys figure it out, and sorry, Theo, I'm going first. I just need to get this out. So then they set the shot up. I sat down. It was 5-6 pages of dialogue, and it was everything I could have ever hoped it could be. So many times for me, but I think just generally as an actor, you walk away and you go, man, I could have done better, but there wasn't the time, or I just couldn't find it, and I just did what I wanted to do better than I could have ever hoped. And then Peter Weller, RoboCop, was directing that episode, and he came in and he said, well, I don't know what that was, but it was the greatest damn thing I ever saw. We're not doing it again. I said, fucking right, we're not doing it again. And then the DP came in and said, we are doing it again, the camera didn't roll. So that sucked. So we did it again. It's still pretty good, but it haunts me. That take that never was recorded haunts me. It was my fault. You should always rehearse, I guess, is the moral of that story.
Okay. Okay, we're going to...
Yeah, right.
We're going to do one more question from the middle.
Hi, guys. I am one of your guys' biggest fans. 2 questions. One is for Charlie. How hard of a scene was it when you guys were in prison and Opie had to depart? And when Opie had to depart from the show, how hard of a scene was that?
You know, for me, in terms of, like, for me, the human, like the actor, it was hard because I was going to miss him, you know. For the character, Jax, or me having to act that scene, it was super, super easy. I didn't worry about that at all because I loved this dude and I just knew there was no acting required. That was one of the things that was really interesting about the show when you get to love the people you're working with and you spend, Kurt would swing for the fences and write a bunch of mad stuff for us to act. It was very difficult, but scene like that, I had to say goodbye to this guy, so it was, it was easy to actually shoot.
Something nice story that I remember was I remember when we were shooting that scene that you know that you've become really bonded with somebody when they start crying and them crying physically makes you cry. If you ever see your mom or your dad cry, all out cry, that this is just something that pulls you right along with it. And I remember they'd already shot my side and they were shooting Charlie and Tommy, and who were just, bawling. And I remember I'm off camera on the floor, supposed to be dead, and I'm weeping. And I was just like, I guess we're really brothers.
So we got time for 4 more questions. They're the 4 down here. Let's make it happen.
Hi, I really love this show. So does my dad. He was the one who got me into it. Although when it first started, he said I was probably too scared because it's junior high. But anyway, so my question is, what is your favorite moment from the show or your favorite bike? Like motorcycle.
Boone, Bobby Elvis had a pretty cool bike, but DL rode his own bikes in that show, and they were definitely the best bikes on that show.
Yeah.
We'll do you, and then we're done.
Favorite.
Okay. We got time for just one question from this little guy.
How was making Sons of Anarchy?
How was it? It was excellent. Once in a lifetime experience.
How was it watching it?
I haven't watched it.
You're a little young.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Well, thank you guys so much for doing this.
Oh,
Give it up. Make it happen.
Thanks.
Sons of Anarchy panel. You can do better than that. Keep it going. They're still in the room.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Hi, this is Aaron Ashmore, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe like now. Oh, and have fun and follow your fandom.